All right, so these cop cars go under a lot of abuse, a lot of different kind of people in and out of them, as you can imagine, a lot of smells. So even after detailing my car, I'm left with a little bit of a musty smell, which obviously you can't tell from camera. But so what we've got here is these pellets that put off chlorine dioxide gas, and it is an industrial grade odor remover. And this stuff's supposed to leave no residue. It is toxic, so you don't want to breathe it in. But what we're going to be doing is mixing it up. It says about 15, actually I think it said about 20 to 25 tablets per 1 to 2 ounces of water. So we put them in here. We just barely cover them, I believe, is how much water will end up be going in there. And then we set them in to sit and for about 4 to 5 hours. And this car should smell like a swim pool when it's done. But after a few days, up to even a couple of weeks, that smell will dissipate. And this car is actually going to be parked for about that long. I don't need it for that time, so it's perfect. So we're going to see how well this works. This came from Amazon. Looks like Saffrax is the brand. And this was about $40, and it comes with 500 tablets. So, being as I'm about to use 50, that means, for a vehicle this size, you can get about 10 uses out of this. So I'm going to use this in all my vehicles if it works. But just these pills right here, I can smell the chlorine smell. So I am optimistic about these. You can buy these actually in one-time use little containers on Amazon for like 20, 25 bucks. But I figured, hey, it's not that much more. And I've got these old Cool Whip containers that I can use, and we'll see how well it goes. So I'm not quite sure how fast this is going to start gassing. But what I'm going to do here is take our water, and I have 4 ounces in it, and I'm just going to slowly pour it in. Ooh, that goes quick. Okay, that was about right. You can see it off gassing, and I'm going to get out of here pretty quick. I'm just going to set this maybe just right here. Man, that gas is quick. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the back and close the doors and let it do its thing. All right, there we go. I have it going inside. Man, this stuff's no joke. It's like foaming up. They say that it doesn't leave any residue, so if it spills, it should be cleaned up pretty easily. But, might be a good idea to put a piece of cardboard or towel or a tarp or plastic or something underneath it. I'm kind of risking it for the biscuit, but we'll see how it does. I got one up front there, and one you can't see this in the back. All right, so this is about 10 minutes. This isn't just foggy windows. I mean, this is a comparison. There's a car without it going on in it. This is just gas. It is crazy in there. I don't want to open the doors, but I mean, this stuff freaking works as far as getting everywhere. What I'll do here in a couple hours is I'm going to hop in there and turn on the vents, idle it and turn on the vents on recirculation and get it to go through all the vents. And that will help clear out that as well. Another thing I did beforehand is I removed the cabin air filter. So, and just standing next to these cracks, I can smell the chlorine gas coming out. So pretty awesome. Okay, I finished the treatment. It's actually been a couple weeks. And I'll explain why in a minute. But first off, the odor's completely gone. It doesn't smell musty in here. Now, it did smell like a swim pool for like a week or two. And I think a lot of that is because I didn't roll down my windows because of the bug season here. I didn't want to get a bunch of bugs in the car. But the odor's gone. I can still smell the really strong carpet shampoo I was using when I was scrubbing these carpets. I think I used a bit too much and did it too concentrated. But I think if I did another treatment, it would go away. But it's a clean laundry smell, so I like that smell, so it's fine. But all the musty and moldy, mildewy smell from the carpets getting wet over the years is all gone now. Now, what did happen is it discolored my carpet. But it is my fault. and that should not happen. What happened is, so I if you remember, I put a container up there, and I put a container, and it was just sitting up on the console, so up off the ground. And then I set one, you can see right where I set it on the ground, and you're not supposed to do that. And what happened is when I unboxed it, I did not see that in the box was some instructions. And so I went online, I didn't see any real instructions, so I just went for it. And yeah, so what ended up happening is I had a low edge container, like a whipped cream container, and the gases, the yellow gases that bellow out, those gases, if they come in contact with carpet fibers, they will bleach it, just like if you get some bleach on your clothes. And but that gas is usually only right next to, like right up close to where the chemical reaction is happening, and then the rest of it shouldn't dye carpets or anything. The front didn't dye at all, and it was up high. So I think a couple of things, I should have set it like on a cardboard box or something up higher here, or even just on the seats, something like that, but I didn't. And then I should have put it in a tall container, like a jar or something, that wasn't, you know, just a short little container that could really bellow out of. And I think that it was mostly bellowing out in this direction, and you can see my carpets are straight brown, whereas you can see underneath, that's how black it was, and now how brown it is. So I don't know what effect it would have on cloth seats, if any. I don't think that it would, because from what I found online and in the instructions, it mentions carpet fiber, but it doesn't say anything about like cloth seats. That being said, I would maybe be kind of careful, but I don't have anything to test it on because all my stuff is like these vinyl or leather seats. So anyway, I do have a solution though, so no problem, because these carpets were a little discolored to begin with. I do have this. This is carpet dye. So this is, yeah, it's a rattle paint, but it's, you know, it says it's flexible, and it's for vinyl, carpets, plastic, velour. You know, it's not really like regular paint. It's meant for interior stuff. And I've never used this stuff, but SEM I've used, and it's a really good brand, and this gets really good ratings. It's about 20 bucks for the can, but I won't use even close to that. As far as masking goes, around the bases of these trim, I just popped this trim off, and just put it up there. But around the base of this trim on this thing, I could just take this thing off. That's what I should probably do. And then around these trim areas, I'll just put a line or two of tape, and I'll just watch my overspray. I'm not gonna go crazy with it, just enough to get it back to black. Anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do. So this is a double bonus tutorial, and you'll see how well it works out. We'll both find out. So yeah, if you've got stains on your carpets, we'll see if this kind of brings back to black. This does come in a lot of colors, but as far as I know, Explorers only had, maybe they had the brown interior, but I thought they were all black. Anyway, I will mask it off, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I've got it shaken up for the last 2 minutes. This is kind of the extent of the masking I did. Nothing crazy, and you just brush out the trash that just landed in over there. But you don't need to go too crazy with this, I don't think, because you're not gonna be putting it on crazy thick. And then, you know, around these edges, I'm just gonna go kind of light, so I don't get any up on the trim. Now, I might have to redo my my smell, you know, the Saffrax, after doing this, because now it's gonna smell like rattle can paint from the propellant. But live and learn, right? Wouldn't hurt to get a second coat anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And I mean, already I can tell, you know, obviously I didn't spray that, and that's what it's looking like. So I just need to get it a little bit more in some spots, and I'll probably do 2 coats to try to get it look even so it doesn't look splotchy, and then I'll report back. Okay, so this is after 2 coats, it's still drying. I was worried at first because it started to look really splotchy, but it turns out that as it dries, it really just goes back to having a regular carpet appearance. The lighting's a little funny in here, so like that looks like a spot, but it's just a shadow. I think the key to this stuff is, in fact, I should probably hit that a little bit more. The key to this stuff is keeping a distance, because otherwise you get real splotchy lines, and you just want to like keep a distance like 8 inches and just mist. And the nice thing is if it gets on any of that interior panel, like I'm sure it did, but because I'm using the same color as this trim, you can't tell. See, no hard line. So that's pretty good. I mean, it was completely like brown orange before, and now it's back to black. You can still kind of see the lines from where the floor mats were, but that's kind of a texture issue more than a color. So I'll probably go over it again, one more dust coat, and the smell's really not all that bad. I'm gonna leave the doors open for a few hours now that, you know, bug season's over. But if it's not, if it is bad, I can just do another treatment of the chlorine, and that should fix it. But this time I'll be better about not putting it directly on the carpet. Sweet. Okay, so turned out pretty good. I'm gonna have mats in here anyway, so it's not a big deal. I actually need to finish that video I'm working on of the review of the floor mats. No, it all went pretty well. The lighting is a little wonky in here, so it looks kind of like there's brown spots, but that's, I don't know, I can't see that in person, just on the camera. But it looks good though, and the smell's not too bad given I've had the doors open for a few hours. So I'll close up the doors and see if the smell lingers, but now I know how to get rid of the smell, even if it does. But it just smells like really faint spray can. The nice thing is that right after it's been sprayed, yeah, it feels a little like, crusty's not the right word, like a little dry. But then after you rub it, I mean, and there's nothing coming off, but after you kind of rub it, it's back to being smooth. So now it will be interesting when time comes to like shampoo the carpets to see how much black comes off. I'm sure some will, but as long as it, you know, doesn't show any brown, because it's a dye, it should have dyed it rather than just covered it. So time will tell, but so far good enough for me to put the mats back in.